Hi, I'm Charmaine Vega, also known as Mama Vega, and today I want to talk to you about what is the best burger for you. And that's going to depend on what it's made from, because it's going to depend on your diet, what your doctor has told you. So I want to take a few burgers and look at the different things that I'm going to suggest that you look at when trying to make that determination as to what is the best burger for you. Some of you like that flame broiled taste in a burger. And when you get the flame broiled taste, it's usually in a beef burger, but you can get it in other burgers as well if you add a little bit of liquid smoke. Not every burger that you get is going to have that flavor, but the way you can get it, if that's what you want, is by marinating in a little garlic, a little Worcestershire sauce, depending on what it is you want and the flavor that you're looking for. However, we're going to be looking at the main ingredient in a burger, and that's going to be what is it made from, and then how do you mix it together? That's what we're going to be looking at in determining the best burger for you. Not necessarily taste, just from the main ingredient. Here, what I want to look at is one of the burgers that everybody talks about, and that is the plant-based burger patties or the Beyond Meat. Okay. However, we're going to be looking at a comparison between the Beyond Meat burger and your traditional beef ground patty or beef burger. And I'm going to show you some differences here in these two to look for on the label. First, we want to look at this one is 270 calories. The regular burger is 200 calories. And we do have to look at how many ounces is one versus how many ounces is the other. You can see here the ounces are equal, 4 ounces of one and 4 ounces of the other one. I want you to take a look at the plant-based one, does not have any cholesterol. The one over here, which is the beef one, has 75 milligrams of cholesterol. So you want to compare those two things. And then we do want to look at the sodium. The sodium over here is 380 milligrams, and the sodium on this one is 75 milligrams. So you can see on the plant-based one, they added a lot of sodium to it. The other thing is if you have any allergies to something like nuts or anything, you want to look at the other ingredients. And here we see that it has a coconut oil, which is here. It has a sunflower oil if you have nuts that you're looking for there. And then it also has other different things down here like yeast and this. So you want to look at what else does it have in it. It has another canola oil over here. So you see it has quite a bit of oil in it. And then it has, somewhere it said natural flavors. I can't see it right now, but I know on one of them it said natural flavors. But what are those natural flavors? We want to look at what is it that they're adding to it. So you want to take a careful look at not only just the nutritionals that you see going down here and going down here, but you also want to take a look at the overall ingredient panel whenever you're looking at that. If you have, generally speaking, if you have just the meat, that's all you have as the meat. But also in that, it's what did that meat, where did the meat come from? What type of product was it originally? Was it a fish? Was it chicken? Was it turkey? And you're going to see I do make some comparisons here of things that you may not have thought about. Here we're looking at a flame broiled salmon. So we see here we have the flame broiled salmon, and that's what I use in actually making the salmon patties that you see there. Those are some that I made myself as opposed to buying them in the store. But here is a label that I did pull from salmon patties that were store-bought, and you can see that the calories here is actually 110, and it would be a little bit more on the calories if we were comparing it for the actual ounces in comparison to the other one, because this one is a little less in the ounces in comparison to the 4. So this is an ounce less, so you'd have to do the math to see exactly what is the comparison, but you can see overall it's going to be quite a bit less. Okay, you can see here the cholesterol is 35. However, it does have a lot of sodium, You can see it's 330 milligrams of sodium. And if we added another ounce, we would have to do the calculations and figure out what is that amount of sodium in comparison. So you can see that it has that. You see it does not have any fiber though. So the fiber is 0 on all of the ones that I've shown you so far. However, if you look at a vegetable burger, and this one happens to be a whole food plant-based, so it doesn't have any added oils to it, and it's made from a black bean burger. This happens to be one that I made, and it has a portobello mushroom. This looks like it's a patty, but it's not. It is a patty, but it's a portobello mushroom patty. And that's what I used here, and took the picture and made it look like it was actually a bun. So you have a portobello mushroom on top, and a portobello mushroom down here on the bottom as well. That's what I put on the bottom. So because I used all plants, no meat or meat product, it has 0 cholesterol. It does have lots of fiber, and it also has lots of protein. Again, it depends on what is your end result that you're trying to get. That's how you can determine which burger is going to be the best one for you. I'm going to keep showing you a couple of more options you may have. Here, this one is a vegan burger. This one is actually made from pea protein, so you can see that. You also have one of the things I like to look at it says natural flavors, but it doesn't tell us what those natural flavors are, because over here when it says garlic puree, in parentheses, it tells us what that is. It says garlic and citric acid is what the puree is. But what are our natural flavors? What is that? We don't know. We have no idea what that is. We also have a caramel color, okay, that it's added over here. So you can see that there are things in it you may want to question. For those of you who don't like a canola oil, this does have canola oil in it, which would make this either vegetarian or vegan, but not whole food plant-based, because whole food plant-based does not in general use oil. So we want to look at that particular thing. We also want to look at the calories. Here we can see that this one is based on 4 ounces. So if we're comparing it to the other ones were 4 ounces. Here we have the amount of calories is 260. Again, we don't have the cholesterol, so there's no cholesterol. Our sodium content went up. We have 480 milligrams of sodium. We do have fiber in this because we have the pea protein and some other things that's there. So we want to look at these things that we have here and in comparison to the previous ones. So again, it's almost like you'd want to make some type of chart and just go down with the things you're concerned about, and then just say, okay, this is what this one has, this is what this one has, and then making your determination. And sometimes you want to say, well, maybe I'll eat this one this time and this one the other time, so that I'm not building up all of the stuff. Again, this is why I'm showing this to you, because it's going to be your personal preference on one hand, but it's also going to be what is the best one for you from a health standpoint. So you want to look at, from a health perspective, what's the best one, because you can always change the flavor and you can make the flavor what you want it to be, but you have to look at what is my core ingredient. So that's what we're looking at here, the core ingredient. Here I've decided I'm going to compare 2 different burgers, but the burger I have on the left over here, this one is wrapped in a collard green leaf. So I've added fiber by wrapping it in the collard green leaf. I've added the avocado, so there's a little bit of natural oil that this one would have. And then I do have mustard that's over here. So I've added those things. This one, in comparison, this one has the carbohydrate, which would be your bun. So in comparing the two, if I don't want the carbs, I would go with the one on the left. And I did make this more of a plant-based burger that's here. So this one would have a higher percentage of fiber in it than this one would have, although you do have a little bit of the lettuce here. So you want to look at those things. And when I make burgers for other people, what I do is I do add some vegetables in with it. I chop them up and I blend them up and I mix it in with the vegetables so that they're getting some type of fiber to help them break down the protein. Here I have a little town that I like to go to, which is in Tehachapi. And I found a little restaurant, and at that restaurant, they happen to have ostrich burgers. So I ended up going there and wanted to see, I'm a plant-based person and I eat more vegetables than I do, but I was very curious when I went there several years back. It was before did what I'm doing now. I wanted to just taste it and see how it was. It does taste gamey, so it is gamey. However, I did want to find what were the nutritionals that it had. And so here you can see that if I'm making a comparison, again, this one only has 3 ounces of the patty. So again, we would have to do the math in order to figure out if we're comparing it to all the other ones that we looked at. In order to make it, we have to either make this one 4 ounces or go back and do the calculations on all the other ones to make them 3 ounces. But I think I would probably want to do just the one and not have to do all the other ones in order to make it less. So we would just have to change these around. But you can see in comparison already, the calories, it's only 132 calories. The cholesterol is only 79 in comparison to the other things that would be made from beef or some type of meat product, and the sodium is 65. So it's very low in sodium, it's very low in the cholesterols, and it does have a high percentage of protein. So you have 45% protein. So you see that this is a pretty decent choice here if you're looking at something that's made from a meat product. So you want to make the comparison in anything that you do here. Here what I did is I wanted to make a comparison between a turkey burger and a buffalo or bison burger. Here what I did is I found some labels, once again, and on the turkey side I looked at the ingredients and you can see that it has some salt that's been added and it has rosemary extract. And here you have bison or buffalo, so you do have that, but there's nothing else that's been added to that. So that's the first thing. And here we're going to see that this one, it looks like it's 3 ounces. This one looks like it's 4 ounces. So right there we know we have to do some calculations on the bison burger to make it what we need it to be, okay? And to be an adequate comparison, that is, not need it to be, but need it to be for an adequate comparison is what I meant to say. Here we can look at the cholesterol. The turkey is 80 milligrams. The cholesterol over here is 60 milligrams. The sodium on the turkey one is 280, and the sodium on the bison is 80. Okay, so we can see that's a big difference there. So we can see that we have, but even if we were to raise this by the 1 ounce, the amount that we would be raising these is still not going to be equivalent to what's over here. And as another side note, when you compare turkey to chicken, turkey is twice the protein and half the fat. So you want to look at that as well. So that's just another one. I don't have it here, but that's a little tidbit that I can add to it for you. Here what I did is instead of having a black bean burger, I made one with white beans or the creamy type of beans. And instead of me doing a flour, I added the dehydrated potatoes. When you buy the potatoes in the box and you can add them. So I added that because the person I was making it for, they wanted something that was gluten-free. So I wanted to thicken it up and have something that would absorb the water so that I could form it. And you can see that in this I've added like some onions, some tomatoes, and this is actually spinach that I added here. So I added some other ingredients to it in order to give it the additional fiber that it would need, because again, I wanted to boost that for them because that's what they were looking for. And I did not have any added oils because they were looking for something that was whole food plant-based as opposed to a vegan, vegetarian, or a meat product. So again, this one is different because of that. Here again, I want to point out that depending on whether it's vegan, vegetarian, or whole food plant-based, you can have oils, but if it's a whole food plant-based, it will not have the oils. But all of those, in general, depending on if you make it yourself or if it's store-bought, they would have 0 cholesterol. It would have lots of fiber because it's made from plant ingredients, and you would end up having a high percentage of protein because it's usually either a pea protein or it would be something that's made from beans or quinoa. There are a number of things that you can add to it to increase the protein content, and there are different things you can do to increase the fiber. And you can also increase the fiber in your beef burgers or chicken or turkey or salmon or whatever into those patties if you cook and add some vegetables ahead of time, cook them down to mash them up or blend them and then pour it in and then add them. So you can increase the fiber content even if it is a beef or any type of other meat patty, and you can make it smoky if you want to add a little bit of liquid smoke to it and then form it. And if you want to make it where it's gluten-free because you need something to help bind it, then what you can do, what I do is I use the potatoes by mixing it in the potatoes with it, because the dehydrated potatoes will now swell up just like a flour will. But because you want to try to make it gluten-free, if a person has a gluten sensitivity or they have a gluten allergy. So those are things you want to look at. So that's why I'm saying, what is the best burger for you? The best burger for you is going to depend on what it is that you're looking for in your end product. But remember, you are what your product eats. It's not just you are what you eat, you are what it eats too. So if it's a plant-based product, it's the type of soil that it was grown in. If it's some type of animal or something else that eats, whatever it ate is what you're going to eat. For example, if it's grass-fed, it's going to depend on the type of grass that it ate, and that's what you're going to be eating because you're eating what it ate. So just keep that in mind when you're having a reaction to something or you're saying, I can't eat this. You have to backtrack and look at what did you eat and what did it eat, okay? So what type of fertilizer, all those things come into play when you're trying to backtrack and say, what did I eat? What is my reaction? Why am I having this reaction? You have to backtrack it. So this is to determine what is the best burger for you is dependent on your body, your needs, what you can and cannot eat based on your dietary restrictions or none, and preference. And then your flavor is something that you can add at any point in time. I want to thank you so much for joining me. We look forward to seeing you virtually again next week and at one of our resource centers as soon as we can. Until then, stay active, healthy, and informed. I have a message for you as usual. All information, content, and material of this video is for informational purposes only and are not intended to serve as a substitute for the consultation, diagnosis, and/or medical treatment of a qualified physician or healthcare provider. The information contained on this video is compiled from a variety of sources and is not considered complete. Information is subject to change without notice. If you have a medical emergency, call your doctor or 911 immediately. And again, I want to thank you for watching. And if you'd be so kind, would you like, comment, and share? And if you comment on it, I will get back to you. If there's a particular video that you would like for me to do some information on, I would be more than happy to do that for you as well. So give me a little bit of feedback below and I will get back to you and let you know. But like, comment, and share. It's much appreciated. And all content in this is royalty free, so I'm not breaking any trademark, restrictions. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to giving you some more information in my next video.